biggest city, the smartest people, the biggest ideas.
Transformation of urban developments where they're putting people up on the higher ground and flattening about 11 large cities. The estimates are anywhere between 1.2 to 2 million people are being relocated. When you think about that, that's like Toronto. And that's like flattening every house and moving everybody out into another place. And this picture to me talks about that kind of loss of an old world, because what's happening, what they don't even realize is that they're losing a fabric. When you break that fabric up, they're not reconstructing them in these new dwellings as communities. They're all being spread out, and whoever can afford what, and whoever knows somebody within the political system gets a little better place. So all the fabric is being destroyed, which I think, and they're moving into these new high-rise living kind of conditions, which they're seeing themselves. Nobody was complaining because they're saying this is a better opportunity than I had before, but I don't think they really appreciate what they are losing in terms of fabric, their social fabric, and the fact that these families have lived together for thousands of years or hundreds of years, and that they're being blown apart. Currently, I'm doing some work in America as well. I'm doing freeways, and this is just a little bit of snippets. You're getting to see some new work that I'm working on right now. And I'm thinking of freeways. This is in Shanghai, and I'm thinking about how we've built all this infrastructure to support the oil kind of party, I call it. It's all these. This is a 5-level freeway. Shanghai is a city that is exploding. China, I just spent 5 weeks there, and I've never seen anything like it. The amount of growth and the amount of building that's going on there is frightening. And what's happening is that there's this huge transformation of people from the country into the urban cities. And there's this huge urban renewal thing going on there right now. And I'm seeing, like right now, I think the estimate is that there's somewhere between 150 to 300 million people, nobody can really know for sure, that are trying to come into the cities. This is Shenzhen. This was 18 years ago, about 100,000 of the city on the right. This is Hong Kong on the left. It's now close to 10 million people. That's in 18 years. This is all, the area in the foreground is all slotted for being taken down and being turned into the city that you see in the background. So this is happening all through Shanghai. And I found out all the holdouts. So these are holdouts. They call them Deng Zhehus. They won't negotiate or settle. So they keep their houses and everything else is flattened because everybody else is settled, but they're still living there, and this is really what they're holding back. And I found a whole series of these holdouts, which is quite interesting. Because it is becoming a kind of more democratic. They can't just say, get out. Because it's Shanghai, it's a big commercial city, and so there's a few of them that are still decidedly wanting more rather than what they're offering them. But again, they're losing their whole fabric, and they're being usually shipped out 2 hours from Shanghai into other areas, usually high rises. This is like we build subdivisions, and they build the same kind of thing, except they have skyscrapers. These are all like 15, 20-story buildings, and it's happening everywhere. There are 20, 30, 40 high-rises going up simultaneously. This is looking at Shanghai from center core, and it's like a forest. And there's so much building going on there. It's going so fast they can't supply the infrastructure. So these apartment buildings have like their own containments for the sewage. They can't fit it into the sewer system. Hundreds of thousands of people are coming in. This is where the biggest station where they come in to find new work. So they're coming in from the country, looking for new work, for new work in the manufacturing sectors. I found this billboard, which I thought was really telling. It got a bit of a polluted thing. There's piles in the picture, you can see it. And there's an oil refinery behind all these they're wearing Western tuxedos and white wedding dresses. It's not their culture. It's an absorption of ours. But I don't even think they know they've absorbed our culture. This is deep in the heart of China. That's the billboard. That's the goal, with a refinery behind them. The kind of creating this whole culture around automation and cars. There's this kind of embrace of our way of doing things on a level that I think we on this side of the planet have to become very aware of, and be able to, I think, again, transfer the kinds of things, because there's a lot of brain trust in North America, and there's a lot of smart people, and I think somehow we've got to bridge those gaps and make sure they don't make the kinds of mistakes, and help them through that kind of period of transition as much as we can, because I guess the outcome can be that, well, the resources will be kind of exhausted at a rate that I think no one's really expecting. And so if there's two things that I think are important to kind of leave is that in the idea of what's happening, to try to reconnect, to try to really understand, how severely we become disconnected from that notion of nature and what's happening and what we're doing to it, and the idea of transference, that we need to begin to really build bridges between ourselves and the new emerging worlds. So thank you.